The EU's humanitarian aid chief says pockets of Gaza are already experiencing famine. The Palestinian Health Authority says at least 27 people, most of them children, have died from starvation. William Schomburg, head of the International Committee of the Red Cross in Gaza, has been telling me about conditions there.
The only way that I can really describe what I see when I drive around Rafah are just scenes of total devastation. Children barefoot running through the mud, families desperately trying to look for some clean water or some decent food to eat, and hospitals that have been decimated by months of ongoing hostilities. The needs are evident. I can look out from the building that I'm in now, and there is a sea of tents, and a sea of tents with civilians living inside of them that are having to endure this Ramadan, a very important moment for people religiously and culturally in Gaza under conditions that were frankly unimaginable some 5-6 months ago. There isn't enough food, there isn't enough medication, there is very difficult access to even the basics that people just need to get by.
And we know that a new sea route for aid is being tried out, being opened up. How much of a difference could that make?
The International Committee of the Red Cross, the ICRC, is not involved in the maritime delivery of humanitarian aid. So I can't speak to that in detail. And I think that there's still a lot that's being figured out as to exactly how this mechanism will function. For the time being, at least, it's very clear that the most effective way to bring in assistance at a large scale and to make sure that it reaches the people who need it the most is by truck. And let's not forget the fact that nobody has been able to earn a salary for months and months on end. And so even people's livelihoods, their coping mechanisms, their savings have all been depleted as a result of this war.
And you spelled out some of the shortages of food, obviously medication you mentioned. What's needed most there now?
The needs are so overwhelmingly high across all sectors that I struggle to say that one thing is needed more than something else. Clearly, food, water, and medication are of primary importance for the sustaining of human life. And at the ICRC, we're really focused on trying to support medical facilities in particular, including the European Gaza Hospital, where we have a large medical surgical team that have been in place for several months treating the wounded and the sick, in order to make sure that their needs are met. But of course, that's not enough. And what we're able to do is important, but a drop in the ocean, and really we need to see far more coming in order to avoid an even more catastrophic situation than the one that we currently face.
And what about a ceasefire? Talks are continuing towards trying to achieve that. How important could that be?
Any cessation in the hostilities will, we hope, enable some normality to come back to people's shattered lives. But let's not forget that with the extent of the damage and with the magnitude of the needs, it will unfortunately take a very long time for people to be able to get back on their feet again. You have the majority of the population that have been displaced, the majority of buildings that have either been damaged or destroyed, and people in a very desperate and vulnerable situation that will, like I said, take a long time to recover from.